On this episode of the Pomerleau Post, keyless ignition module and tire pressure monitoring system. One of the very first things I bought for my bike was the keyless ignition module. I actually bought it before I even took possession of the bike. I knew I wanted it that bad. I installed it. It ran great. Just getting on the bike, flipping the start-stop switch and going, just was so cool. I know you needed the keys for the tank and for the saddlebags, but still, it didn't bother me. It was great. Well, the other day, I wanted to go and see my brother. He's in another town, 2.5 hours away. I wanted to go for lunch. I came out to check my bike over, the lights, the horn, things like this. I flipped the switch, nothing happened. Had no main power. I tried the accessory, it worked, but I had no main power. I tried my second fob, I changed batteries, I did everything, I had no main power. The bike was dead. Luckily, I had my trusty Triumph, I hopped on it, went out and saw my brother, and I came back. And just for fun, I decided to try the Victory again. This time, I flipped the switch, main power came on, I was able to start the bike. That's funny. Now it's intermittent, and I hate troubleshooting an intermittent fault. So I left it alone, went to bed. The next morning I came out, tried it again. Dead. Would not start. I said, well, I'm not going to live like this. So I removed the keyless ignition module, went back to my key, and it's been running fine since. It's too bad. It was a great module. I had fun with it. I loved it. But it happens, and now I'm back to the key. One of the other add-ons that I had purchased for my bike last winter was the tire pressure monitoring system. This one is from Doran. I purchased the 3-sensor system, one for the front tire, one for the back tire, and one for the shock. I figured since I have my fairing all apart, I'm going to install the system. So I wired it up, runs great. I wired up the display to my handlebars on the right-hand side so I can see the pressure at any time. I put the tire pressure alarm at 38 for the front, 40 for the back, and I set the shock at 0. I don't want an alarm coming off because it's a different pressure. I just want to know what the pressure is. So now at a glance, I can see all 3 sensors. The problem is, there always seems to be a problem, is that my side cover would no longer go back on the bike because of where the sensor is. The sensor is fairly large, and on the shock Schrader valve, the sensor is too big and wouldn't allow the cover to fit back on. So I removed the sensor, disabled it off the display, and I'm going to have to relocate the Schrader valve. No big deal, it's easily done, but it's going to be a project for another time. So right now, all I have is the tire sensors. So thank you very much for joining me today on the very first edition of the Pomerleau Post. I hope to be putting more out there as things come in and as people ask me more questions. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a good day. I decided to try something new, a video blog, if you will, talking about questions people have, things that happened in my life, and we'll see how it works out. So I'm Paul Pomerleau, and I'll talk to you next time on the Pomerleau Post.